They assemble at night, each one having prepared as diligently as possible for the time given to them before the witching hour, the hour of reckoning, the time when they begin outdoor cartoon television. Stray Casts is on the air.
Good evening, glory. Hallelujah to you. What the heck's your story and what's going through you? This is the glorified version of a bass fishing talk show, pop-up edition. I'm your host, Pat Renwick, and welcome, Bass Galaxy. It's Wednesday night. Hello.
There you go.
Hello, hello.
Coming
How
at
we
you.
doing? Hey, now. I'm Pat Renwick. That's Ryan Popcorn Whitaker co-hosting the heck out of this deal right there.
Yep.
Say hello to Ryan.
Not even done sharing the live feed. I can't even win.
Yeah.
Not even gonna win.
Hey, tonight, speaking of winning, tonight is the thrill of victory Stray Cast episode. We have 3 victors tonight. Champion, legend, Denny Brauer. Give it up for Denny. Yes, stand alone, Denny Brauer. The warden, the intimidating, casting legend, returns to Stray Cast tonight. Along with his what would you call him? Protege, Mr. William Lowen from the Hoosier State. Dollar Bill, crypto currency Lowen, champion 2 times tonight. Here returns to Stray Cast. I'm saying words shorter, like Kevin on The Office. If anybody knows what I'm doing, less words, more time.
More time.
Hey, and then returning to Stray Cast to celebrate yet another Bassmaster victory, the one and only Brandon Palaniuk. Yes! Brandon, back to Stray Cast. It's going to be fun. We got some cool stuff tonight for you, Bass Galaxy. Hey, want to remind everybody, get some questions in to J.R. Ewing running the chat board, Rockin' Shoal Fantasy. It's all part of your Rock and Shoal Fantasy. Get some questions. Feed them to JR. He's hungry. He's angry. Feed him some questions so we can feed them to the guests. And also, while you're at it, like and share this live Facebook feed. You know what that gets you?
Prizes.
Yeah, it gets you a chance to win stuff on Stray Cast. That's right, Chow. Come on. First up, we, of course, are giving away a 10-cup whiskey box of goodness right to your front doorstep. Got to sign for it. Yes. Second off, I guess we got to do it, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
We got to do this because they're amazing.
Yep.
And the new Berkeley Craws. We got to give some away.
Oh,
we got to give some of the new Berkeley Craws away.
Definitely got to.
The Crud Craw. Yeah, you can't win, right? The stank bug.
If you're not in, you can't win.
And the Crud Craw. Amazing. Been smashing on them.
You don't know about my fake account.
That's true. You're burners. You got a lot of burners. One for relations and one for conversations and then for business, right?
Yeah.
Let's give away a Berkeley pack. Like and share the live Facebook feed. We're giving away a 10-cup whiskey pack. Like and share the live Facebook feed. And you know what? I'm going to get wild, dude.
Let's get wild.
I'm going to get really wild because the Bassmaster Classic's coming up and I'm all excited. So excited.
Go Bassmaster.
Mr. Brauer, Mr. Palaniuk, and Mr. Lowen. They're all going to give something away.
Wow.
Let's do it. They're all doing it. That's it. There it is. Like and share the live Facebook feed. 5 prizes tonight. That's silly. 6?
Yeah, we forgot one.
What?
Let's do a custom Stray Cast t-shirt.
Oh my gosh.
Print Lab.
Wait a second. Are you going wild bonkers?
Let's go wild bonkers.
Holy cow.
It's like an Oprah show.
This is. You get a prize. You get a prize. You get a prize. 6 chances to win Mad Science Print Lab.
Yeah.
Giving away a Stray Cast shirt tonight. Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. So we got the we got 10 cup with. Oh my gosh. 10 cup whiskey, Berkeley Craws. Okay. And then we have the Mad Science and then the individual prize packs. Boom.
It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's a lot of opportunities. That's called a 6-pack. That's the Straight Cast 6-pack tonight. Chance to win right there.
It's good.
Hey, speaking of good,
Mm-hmm.
way better than good, the best damn producer in the entire Bass Galaxy. He's right on the head, just like Bass Dictated Energy should be. He's Andrew Ellenberger's Ginger Ninja. You got a mic tonight, Ninja? Andy.
Yeah, I got it.
He's got, hey, there he is. Guess what? Andy's happy. How you doing, Andy?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I can't, you're a little low on the spectrum. Andy?
We tried.
No offense.
No offense. Bassmaster Classic coming up, Andy. It's one of your most favorite times of the year.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
Nothing like it.
it's the excitement is already among us.
It's in the air.
Yeah, 100%. This is our Super Bowl of Bassin', and pretty stoked it's going to be on the Big Fox channel this year. I mean, that's big time. Big time. Bassin' hitting the big time. So, Andy, you're going to have a big Bassmaster Classic party at your house, right? In Hobart?
Yeah, everybody's invited.
You're making some duck stew.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be amazing. Andy, we got a lot of prizes tonight. It's a Straight Cast 6-pack.
Yeah.
You think we can handle it?
They're ready.
All right. Make sure you pay special attention to the Mad Science one and to the individual prize packs.
Yes.
From the 3 champions, a thrill of victory. All right, Andy.
This is wild.
I know. It's a crazy.
Wild.
Look at how excited Ryan is. Are you that excited, Andy, off air?
Yeah.
Are you wearing pants?
Yeah.
Andy has pants on too.
All
right. Excellent. Andy, let's get down to business. It's time to pay some bills on the Straight Cast Show. What do you say? Slices, dices, even catches mices. And is the official battery of champions Impulse lithium batteries. Brandon Palaniuk and Bill Lowen setting the trend. First 2 derbs of the year on the Elite Series. Impulse guys. Very impulsive wins, right?
Yeah.
They're like, let's just go win.
Yes.
Carried them right there. And do you think that they cashed in on the Impulse Lithium Rewards
I
program?
hope they were signed
from
up
Bill
for
and
tournament
Darlene.
rewards.
They better be, right?
Yeah.
Because the Weidlers are writing checks now for them.
500 bones.
500 extra on top of the Bassmaster payday.
I am certain that tournament qualifies.
Yeah,
now as well.
100% it did.
Yeah.
So both Brandon and Bill Lowen got the extra Impulse Lithium incentive plan.
Yeah.
And I noticed both those guys run they're not shy about running that dual 36 deal. Seems like that's the deal going on.
I haven't seen Under the Deck, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they ain't taking chances.
Yeah.
Putting
No.
a couple impulses going beyond days. Beyond days. Hey, dazed and confused is what most bass fishermen are right now. Because you know what? Spring is among us.
Yeah.
And coming around the bend. And the place to go shopping, OmniaFishing.com. Not only the premium pro app, but just the coolest place in Bassin to shop. Let's be honest about it.
Yeah.
It's where the cool kids are.
Building rewards for every order.
You like
Just
it.
makes you want to order. Build that bank.
Exactly, man. And then cash them in at the end.
Exactly.
You get a free pack of Man's Jelly Worms.
Yeah.
You save it up. You get a pack of Scoopernong.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Punch that card.
OmniaFishing.com, the official online store of Straight Cast. Proud to say it. Hey, you know what one of the hottest cold weather jigs on the planet is in the Bass Galaxy? It's the Tightrope Baby Firework, Ryan Pop Cornelius, JP High Josh Sokol jig.
Super jig.
Super jig.
You almost
Sorry,
got it.
I almost got it right. Gosh dang it. Yeah. But yeah, cold water special.
Yes.
Tightropefishing.com. If you don't know about the 16th ounce tightrope, you don't know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you shouldn't.
Maybe you should.
Maybe you should know about that little what's the flat nose shad accent cut down on the back of it. Maybe you shouldn't know about
you
that.
might not want to know.
You might want to know about any of that.
Don't swim it in the middle of the water.
Don't swim it like a hair jig either.
Do not scope with it.
Whatever you do.
Doesn't shake
don't-
very well.
Yeah. 1877 Minnow Kids. It works.
Yeah.
Waterland sunglasses. I got a chance to get my hands on the glass ones with the actual glass lenses.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Gold mirror with glass lens. If you have not tried the glass water lens, they're a little more pricier. But wow.
So can I have yours?
Yeah.
Okay,
you can borrow them tomorrow and then the next day and give them back.
All right.
But no, as your eyes get older as a bass fisherman, many years staring in the water, staring at the sun, it's amazing how these lenses help tired eyes, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So check out waterlandfishing.com, the official sunglasses for water and land. They work on water and land, just in case you didn't know. Again, check out the new Berkeley craws available at omniafishing.com. That's the crud craw and the stank bug.
Yeah.
Ooh, stanky. Stank bug.
Fill those gaps.
Hey, Mad Science Print Lab.
Mad Science Print Lab. They will print anything for you.
You
can send them a rug. They'll print it. Anything.
They even have a limited edition Stray Cast Luke Foley whiskey gypsy. Take your whiskey to the party. Let's dance. Put on your red shoes and dance the blues.
100%. Hats,
shirt.
Embroidery, custom patches, DTF transfers, event printing. That's your favorite part.
I like DTF.
Transfer.
Yeah, I like when.
For you bastards, custom jerseys too. Limited runs. They'll focus on your brand. They'll focus on your merch.
I like it.
Anybody with a small business, that's who they take care of.
Mad Science Print Lab. Ginge, do we got any gypsies in the mist? Is he in the mist? Uh-oh, he's back. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Luke Foley. For those about to rock, we salute you. Let's raise that glass and see what salutes.
Oh. How you guys doing?
How are you doing? Welcome back to Straight Cast, Foles.
Good seeing you.
Yeah, you too. One of your favorite people in the Bass Galaxy, Mr. Denny Brauer, on tonight.
That's right.
I know you're excited about that. Now you know you're going to have to send him some tin cup.
I am. I've sent him some bottles.
Far this year, and some
he's
shirts.
Probably getting low.
Yeah, Denny is a proud spokesman.
He is
for the brand.
He is. I'm gonna try and get out there and go fishing with him next month. I hope.
You need to.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Foles, welcome back to Stray Cast, season 10.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, Luke Foley, he's the whiskey gypsy from Tin Cup Mountain Whiskey, the official brown liquor of Bassin. And when he comes on this show, he gives you a word to behold. And that is the Tin Cup Whiskey word of the week. When you hear that word of the week, the Tin Cup Whiskey word of the week, take a sip of your favorite beverage. Could be a Cafe Con Leche, an ice cold Coca-Cola, or Tin Cup Mountain Whiskey. Foley, what's the word of the week?
Well, since Mr. Lowen are on and so's Denny, let's go with jig.
Oh boy, you want a party?
I do.
You want to party like a rock.
Who's your one in elite?
Okay.
Bill's a great guy.
Yeah.
You know?
And Brandon ain't afraid to trim a jig skirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Brandon's got to be careful when he lands those fish. He gives me a lot of anxiety.
Brandon's wild.
You know, he had the deal at Bull Shoals. He had to go to the hospital. He gets a hook at his chin. I got to drink a couple when I'm watching him because I'm nervous.
Yeah,
Brandon, be careful. Please be careful.
Keeps you steady-handed. That's
yeah, man. He loves to bring him to the boat green.
Yeah, Brandon's caught 2 9-pounders on an alpha rebound and himself. I've never done any of that.
That was incredible to watch.
Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So the word of the week is jig. When you hear that word jig, take a sippy. And we want to remind you, when you take a sip, enjoy the heck out of it, but also be responsible. Right, Foles?
Absolutely.
I mean, we got all kinds of prizes tonight, Foley. We got the Berkeley Craws. You're eligible for that.
Yeah, Brad sent me some of those last week. Those are sexy.
You got mine. They're amazing. I've been smashing on them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you can't win then. Like and share the live Facebook feed. Chance for the Berkeley Craws. Tin Cup box of goodness, as usual, to the door. Like and share the live Facebook feed. Mad Science Stray Cast official shirt. Like and share the live Facebook feed. And 3 prizes from our guests. Hey, there's Courtney back there. Hey, Courtney.
Back there.
Hold on. Switch.
Hi.
How you doing? How you doing there, Mrs. Foley? Soon to be Mrs. Foley. You look great, Courtney.
Thanks. I was out for a walk with the dog.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
Walking the dog. Hey, Foles?
Yeah.
Put the power poles down Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be a thrill of victory celebration.
Yeah, it is.
Denny Brauer, Brandon Palaniuk, Bill Lowen, and you never know who else. We'll see you in a minute. With the Power
Hey,
Pole
guys.
down, Bass Galaxy.
See you, buddy.
Don't go anywhere. Coming right back. Love you, Poles.
Love you.
There's a moment when you're faced with a challenge, and just solving the problem isn't good enough, even if that means breaking the rules and shredding apart conventional ways of thinking, all in the name of creating something truly remarkable. With this much control at its command, we didn't stop with just one. We created two incredible trolling motors. Introducing the new Power Pole Move brushless trolling motor.
This is the mountain, and this is mountain whiskey. Unspoiled, untamed, forever wild. There's no safety net, no way down. Up here, it's just man, and the mountain, and his tin cup. Tin Cup Whiskey. Mountain whiskey.
Omnia Premium Pro gives you the confidence to eliminate dead water on thousands of lakes across the U.S. Exclusively on the Omnia app, use 10 unique data layers containing critical real-time mapping information to see water temperature, water clarity, contours, lake bed hardness, and important weather data all in one place. Matched with Omnia's loyalty credit program on all your tackle and gear needs, this is the only app you need in your arsenal for success on the water.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, buddy.
Realize your boat's potential with outboard performance accessories that improve the handling, speed, and economy of your boat. Find your perfect accessory from Bob's Machine.
Welcome back.
What are you? Welcome
I was
back.
trying to say at the same time.
This is the glorified version of a bass fishing talk show. I'm your host, Pat Renwick. That's Ryan Popcorn Whitaker. I see on the screen right now the one and only Dollar Bill Lowen. And yes, two-time Bassmaster champion. There he is, legend. Denny Brauer joins the show right now. Amazing. And do we have room for one more?
He's still trying to park, so give him a minute.
Oh,
He's parking.
that's what. Hey, bass fishermen are part-time bass fishermen, full-time truck drivers. So we'll bring that on in a minute. But hey, Denny Brauer and Bill Lowen, welcome back to Stray Cast, gentlemen. Great to see you.
Well, thanks for having us.
Holy cow! Hey, Denny, what do you think about your protege here, Billy Lowen? I mean, the next another victory, man. How awesome is that? Right on time.
Well, I am really proud of Bill in more ways than one. Not only has he done a great job on the water, but he always hits a home run off the water. He's one of them guys that no matter how he finishes, he's going to be there for his sponsors, there for the fans. And, that's just as important as winning, but the fact that he can do it all. And this was perfect timing on another victory.
He is just a great ambassador for the sport of bass fishing. I mean, Bill,
y'all trying to make me cry here or what?
we're telling you like it is. We're talking real bassin', Bill. You are an ambassador for the sport, and your victory was well needed in the Bass Galaxy.
Well, it might have been needed in the Bass Galaxy, but it was needed in the Lowen household as well. That's for sure.
Okay, I guess this just in. Ladies and gentlemen, another Bassmaster Elite Series champion experiencing the thrill of victory. It's the one and only. There he is, Brandon Palaniuk.
Hold on. What's up, guys?
How you doing, Brandon?
I'm good.
Hey, Uncle Denny's here, Brandon.
What's up, Uncle Denny?
How are you doing?
I'm good. I guess I can call you that.
He's everybody's Uncle Denny in bass fishing.
That's right.
And of course, your fellow colleague on the Bassmaster Elite Series angler and fellow champion, Mr. Bill Lowen, also here, Brandon.
Yes. Just a room full of legends I'm surrounded by here.
Yeah, you're a legend yourself, Brandon, whether you know it or not. I mean, first off, let's talk about this. Amazing victory, Brandon. Like I think you and Timmy Horton ordered a pizza together. It was such a wide margin there at that. And Bill's victory, another proper Bassin victory. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Brauer?
Without a doubt. I mean, what really set both of those victories were apart was their last day. You know, you can really get to struggling and second guessing yourself and running around. And Bill stuck with it, stuck with his game plan, and it ended up paying off, and he won the tournament. And Brandon, he had the lead, but you don't know what you need. And he stuck with it, ended up catching a big fish, kind of like what Bill did, and they both pulled it off. So it takes that intestinal fortitude, it takes that experience, but man, congratulations to both guys. I was able to watch it all come down, and it was exciting TV, needless to say.
Yeah, great coverage by Bassmaster this year. And Brandon, you and I were speaking earlier, and you said this, if I may quote you. Do you think it's a coincidence that Bill Lowen, Jason Christie, and yourself have won a tournament this year? And my response to you was, hell no, it's not a coincidence. The bass gods are speaking right now.
Yeah. I mean, that really stemmed from the conversation of all three of us missing the Bassmaster Classic.
Yeah.
after an unusually tough season for all three of us last year. And I think that little bit of a fire under all three of us. I can't really speak for Christy or Lowen, but just knowing those guys for the last 15 years, I imagine that to be true. And I know it did for me. And I don't know, like last year just felt so odd, and it felt like it was so hard. And then you get into tournaments, like I'll let Bill speak on it, but like Okeechobee, when it goes right, and I'm sure Denny's felt this, when you get in those moments where you are meant to win and you can't do any wrong, it seems so effortless. It seems so easy. But yet last year, it seemed like I was just punching myself in the teeth to cut a top 50.
You ever felt like that, Denny, in your career?
Oh, absolutely. Lots of times. It's a fickle sport. There's so many variables we cannot control. And when you kind of get in a tournament where you've got them under control, you get that feeling that it's going to end up right. You get that inner confidence. But boy, that can go away in a hurry. You know, the wind can change, this can happen, that can happen. And suddenly what was a winning spot is no longer a winning spot. So what I used to do for a living and what these guys presently do for a living is very, very hard. You've got to make a lot of good decisions. You got to execute on those decisions, hope everything goes right. And when it does, there's not a better feeling in the world.
I mean, and you're a perfect example of that, Denny. I'm glad you said that, because let's take a look at this. AOY in 2 leagues, right? And correct me if I have any of these credentials wrong, Denny. Wheaties box, first angler ever on a Wheaties box. You've been on talk shows. In fact, you beat a drunken Ozzy Osbourne in a casting competition in the alley in New York. I mean, you spanked Ozzy. You're a Bassmaster Classic champion. You are in the inaugural Bass Fishing Hall of Fame. Is that correct? As well?
No, second year.
Second year. Okay, gotcha. But I mean, you have accomplished. Bill, think about this. Brandon, think about this. Every accomplishment in bass fishing that you could possibly do, including beating Ozzy Osbourne, Denny Brauer has done it. He's done that. That's amazing. That's the thrill of victory, Denny.
Well, the sport was very good to me, and I had a lot of things go right during my career. I got a lot to be thankful for, without a doubt. But the bottom line is, it's no different than any other occupation. It's about hard work and dedication, and a lot of times you get back the effort you put into it. And I know the effort that these guys put in. They're on the water early, they're off the water late. It takes that type of dedication in order to be successful. Anybody can win once, but when you start to see them consistently finish high and win multiple times, that says everything you need to know.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Ryan, tell me about the AOY deal.
Yeah, Pat mentioned the AOY, and through doing a little research, I mean, I know I followed your career, but I went back and looked a little closer just to confirm.
He dug in the file,
and
Denny.
I found a strange stat. It almost looks like, Denny, you kind of started the change of this.
He did.
Not culture, but
he broke
AOYs. So what happened was, I'm looking through and I find your AOY in 87, but then I'm looking before that and I realized that the first 16 years of bass fishing of Bassmaster, 1970 to 1986, there was only 5 winners of Angler of the Year in that 16 years.
Yeah. So who'd you have?
Bill Dance, Roland Martin, Jimmy Houston, Larry Nixon, Hank Parker. And then you win in 87, and then it's all new names after that. Then it goes to Guido, Klein, Van Dam, Fritz. It just changed. And none of those guys from that first 16 years ever won again.
It's a pretty amazing fact.
Something
I never
happened
knew
there.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Denny came around. He's like, I ain't taking this anymore. I got a 7.5 foot flip stick. I'm gonna kick you in the teeth.
Yeah, he's like, these 5 guys need to stop taking everybody's money.
Yeah. Did you know that fact about you?
I did not.
It's pretty wild.
All those guys went and started TV shows. They were like, "Oh, this Denny Brauer guy's here now.
We're
just
done.
doing TV shows.
We're
now."
done.
Yeah.
But I mean, here's the thing. I mean, okay, when did you first come on the scene, Denny? What was your first year at Bassmaster?
As far as fishing one of the national tournaments, it was April of 1980. In fact, I still lived in Nebraska back then, and that tournament was on Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri, which I felt that was probably as close as they're ever going to get with a tournament. So I went ahead and entered that. And when I got down there, I walked into the lobby of the motel where I was staying, and the first individual I met was Bill Dance. He was walking out. So that ended up being Bill's last event that he fished.
Wow. Unreal. And then that's kind of foreshadowing right there, actually.
Yeah.
It's the new kid in town. I mean, pretty
Like
wild.
Bill
Now, yeah. What's that, Denny?
I don't think Bill had a clue who this kid from Nebraska was, but he was very polite, and I'll never forget meeting him. That's for sure.
Oh, but he found out who you were. Yeah, he found out quick who you were, Denny. But think about this, and Brandon and Bill, please chime in. Bill, that Denny's known as the warden or the intimidator of the sport, right? I mean, nobody messes with Denny Brauer, right, Brandon?
Yeah. I've been on the other end. I've been on the receiving end of that. Now I do have to say that he came back and apologized later. because I did no wrong.
Sorry, boys, that was a setup.
But I mean, it has happened, and me and Denny have probably. I don't think we've ever spoke about this since, but it was my rookie year, and when he won on the Arkansas River, and I come rolling back there on day 2, back in Pine Bluff. Didn't know Denny was back there, and him and another guy are fishing over on kind of the other end of the back end of Pine Bluff, and I go over to the right and I stop on this brush pile that I'd found and had a couple bites in. Well, here comes Denny, and Denny's not very happy that there's another young angler in his way, and proceeded to be very warden-like on me, and I felt like my entire bass fishing career was over in that moment, because here is my bass fishing hero just scolding me for what, and I felt like I didn't do anything wrong, and then I sat there and I caught a couple fish out of my brush pile, and before I left, he came back and apologized. And we talked about it in the weigh-in line. I remember that. And I never went back to that brush pile. Never even went back in there. I said, Denny, you can have it all. It's all yours. Win.
You said, Denny, I didn't know that was your brush pile. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think it's just a big front, personally.
He's a softie.
100%.
I think, yeah. I mean, I've been around Denny a lot, and he's really just like a big teddy bear, you know? But I will tell you that him and I shot a pro team journal one time on Lake Falcon, and I caught some fish, and the show aired, and the only thing that showed up for me during the show was me taking a leak off the back of the boat. And I said, Denny, you could at least let me catch a fish on TV. And he said, listen here, boy, it's my TV show. And I said, all right, you're the boss.
That's the warden. That's the intimidator.
Yep.
What do you think about this, Brauer?
Rightfully so.
Those guys are making all that.
They're making it up, huh?
I mean, I feel like the bass, we were just destined to be in this situation by the Bassin gods. I mean, he won his Angler of the Year title in '87, which is the same year I was born. So
yeah, I was like 6 or something.
I just graduated high school.
Yeah.
But think about this. Now I was thinking about how last year, and you said it was a weird year, Brandon, on the Elite Series, and dominated by rookies. Maybe more so than we'd ever seen. Now, it was kind of like a turntable or a table turn, because in the early days of Bassin, like Denny was saying, or when your rookie year, it seemed like the rookies were intimidated by the veterans. And I don't mean any disrespect in any way by this statement, but now it's a different kind of situation where maybe a lot of the veterans in an odd way are intimidated by some of the techniques that the younger rookies are better at, or are more practiced at, let's say. Do you guys know what I'm saying? Does it seem like
I don't know that it's an intimidation thing as much as it's a learning curve.
Okay.
The learning curve used to be much longer because the access to information wasn't there, right? And I'm not talking like waypoints information and things like that, even though we know some of that went on last year. I'm talking just understanding how to catch a bass and where to go catch a bass and how to do techniques. But for the entirety of Denny's career, Bill's career, my career, right? Like, I grew up reading articles and watching videos of Denny Brauer. And then the next generation learned and watched those videos from Denny Brauer and Bill and myself. And there's way more of that than there used to be. Right? There used to be Bassmaster TV show, a couple fishing shows,
and Bassmaster magazine once every 2 months.
And so that was your information. Now you can type whatever technique and whatever you want into YouTube, and you're going to find 15 videos on it at least. and it's going to tell you everything to do it, where to go do it, how to do it. And so I think that's a big difference, right? Is that you have these high school programs, college programs, and all of this access to information that shortens that learning curve. So when you come in as a rookie, you've already cut your teeth like through the opens and doing it at a much younger age. Like
stomping out of the gates.
Yeah, when I qualified at 23, I think the average age was like 43. And now it's, now the average age is probably in the 30s. Like it's dropped a lot.
Yeah. How old were you when you won the nation championship? That was 2010. Was that with that?
Yeah, I was 22 years old.
22. Gotcha.
Yep.
So kind of old compared to a lot of these.
Yeah.
Well, Bill, how do you feel about that? I mean, you're living it right now. You saw last year that a lot of the derbies were predominantly won out pinging, and I mean that that had to play a toll on you, a traditional shallow water angler.
I just want to forget about last year.
Okay, I'm with you.
Last year was in my 20-year career with bass. Last year was my worst year ever. I believe I finished 85th in the points, and like Brandon said, the learning curve of the guys that are coming in now, not only with just fishing in general, but with the technology that they've learned, is unbelievable. And that's kind of where I've been the last couple of years, is kind of hung up on the fence of, do you buckle down on forward-facing sonar? Do you fish the way you have done your whole career? And I just got in a really bad place the last couple of years. And, Humminbird just released a new Mega Live 2, which I got that early this fall and got a lot of confidence in that. But with that being said, I also told Jennifer that, hey, we're going to fish the way we fish. If we have to use forward-facing sonar, we will. But for the most part, we're going to go fishing. We're going to go have fun. And we're just going to fish the way we fish. And with that being said, the last couple of years watching the rookies come in is unbelievable. I think technology snuck up on all of us. I don't want to say old timers, but obviously it did. You know what I mean? And
it was there, but it creeped up.
I've never seen in my career a piece of technology be so dominant, regardless of where we go in the country, whether that be shallow, deep. And like I said, it put me in a bad place, and I was fighting demons. And I don't know what I did over the winter, but hopefully I got rid of all them daggone demons.
Yeah, well, it seems like it's working so far, Bill, whatever you're doing. And I know Denny and Brandon, as well as the rest of the Bass Galaxy, have heard this about you, Bill, before your win on Pickwick. And again, just straight talking, no disrespect intended, but I heard a lot. Bill Lowen, he's due. If there's a guy on the Elite Series that's due for a victory, it's Lowen. It's Lowen. Lowen's due for a victory. And I don't know, there's always that debate whether there is such a thing, whether an angler is due for a victory. But Bill, you have always been just really sneaky good at Durban. You know what I mean, Brandon? Just sneaky good. And
Steady Eddie.
Check cashing machine.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have a choice. I knew every day I put the boat in the water that I had to get a check, at least early in my career. Without a doubt. I mean, it was like I was going to catch whatever I had to catch to get a check. And if I put me in contention to win, then so be it. But I think one of the things that stands out to me all the time is Denny telling me one time, I've always used smaller profile baits and things like that just to get a bite and cash a check. And he made a comment to me years ago about Bill, if you just fish with bigger baits, you'd win more tournaments. And
okay.
I've never forgot that. And I started incorporating that in. And obviously you see that now I kind of fish like Denny did when he was here. And
I do see that.
You might not cash as many checks. And I don't know if that Pickwick win was good. It was awesome, but then it was bad because like I wanted to win, and that's all I was trying to focus on. I wasn't even worried about.
Yeah,
I wasn't worried about cashing a check anymore. I just wanted to win, and that's kind of one of the things we focused on over the winter was, hey, we're going to get back to cashing checks and still doing what we do. And yeah, I don't know. I can't explain what's going on, and I just hope it keeps on going on.
Right. Like we were saying, you're cashing checks, you're getting points, and you're gaffing them and skiing them. Right, Bill Lowen? that's what you're doing. Say, who's the they said that about you, Bill, that you're due for your win. Who's due for a win now? Who's the sneaky, sleepy, good angler in the elites right now that's due for a win? Who do you think?
It's so hard to pick one out because everybody's like so sneaky good, you know?
Yeah.
But like, I mean, really, truly, honestly, I'm not sure.
I think the easy answer is Gerald.
That's what
absolutely. I mean, yeah, obviously, for sure.
Just because he's done it for so long.
Yeah, Swindle needs
he's
one.
good, right? Like, how do you win 2 AOYs but still have not won an elite?
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
that blows my mind.
Yeah, and he felt so great top 10 at the St. John's. He was so happy to be in that top 10 line. That's for sure. That's for sure. And Brandon, how many years you've been a pro now? 12?
This is year 15.
Oh gosh, sorry, Denny. I underestimated him. 15 years Palaniuk's been at this. Denny, what's your first memory of Brandon Palaniuk besides him poaching your spot back in that creek? Sorry, Denny, I knew about that and I had to bring it up earlier. It was a setup. I'm a talk show host. I got to do that stuff. But it's up. But seriously, what's your first memory of Brandon besides that?
Well, you know, when he won the Federation, obviously that's the first where he was really a blip on my map, so to speak. And I started following his career from that. But when he jumped on the tour as a rookie, you know, he let everybody know in a hurry that he was there to stay and he was a good fisherman. And of course, our little issue we had at Pine Bluff, I got to know him a lot better, a little faster than I probably would have otherwise. But
tough love.
Well, you know, right. you got to guard your territory a little bit.
That's right. Yeah, Denny's peeing on the tree. You don't go on that tree.
It was like a fatherly love, you know. It was like, this is how we play these rules, and these are the rules we're going to play by, whether they're in the rule book or not. And guess what? I follow along by those.
He handled that like a true professional. He was very, very mature for somebody just starting out on tour, and I really did appreciate it. Victories are hard to come by, and without people like him giving you the opportunity, it happened probably. So.
Absolutely, and again, it just made Brandon better. You didn't even know it then, Denny, but you were helping to shape Brandon Palaniuk into the angler that he is today. True story, for real.
That's a fact. I just won my last derby fishing bumper to bumper with 3 other dudes.
Yeah, it'll teach you quick, won't it?
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Brandon, did you guys have some kind of a deal going on where if somebody caught one, like while they're fighting that, whoever's next to you or behind you can kind of slide up in front of you? Was there any kind of a deal? Because I saw that happening, and it was making me crazy. And
there was never like a boat shift or anything like that. You know, even when I got there first on day 2, we all just fell in order the same way we were set up on day one.
Okay.
You know, I didn't want to like reposition and try to get where Will was, because he had better, you know, angle on what I considered the juice. It just felt right to just fall in place the same way we fished on day one. You know, obviously when a guy hooked one, everyone else would kind of throw like in that direction, even though we were all
natural instinct.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I was getting at, because I saw that happening and it was just making me I'm screaming at the screen.
Sight fishing.
But everybody seemed cool with whatever was going on. So
yeah, and we were, I mean, day one just set the tone for the whole thing. We were sharing like, oh yeah, I caught that one on a wobble head. I caught this one on a Nico rig. I caught that one on a shaky head. Caught that one cranking. You know, like, we just ran through the gauntlet. And I mean, when Greg DePalma caught that 810, we were talking and he's like, where are you at? And I said, oh, I haven't cast yet. He said, go ahead. And so I fire out there. He fires out after me, lands 6 inches from my cast. And then we start dragging back to the boat, and he sets the hook on an 810. Doobies to my right sets the hook on like a 6.5. And I just drag my bait all the way back to the boat with no bite. I'm like, well, I guess this is how this is going to go today. And like that's just how it happened, right? Like the spot wasn't big enough for you just to be wheeling around everywhere. Like, especially day one, those fish were concentrated in a very confined area, and that we just made it work. Like nobody, the only rule that we set was that when you got rid of your last like 2.5 pounder, you were put in timeout wherever that landed you.
Oh,
okay,
interesting.
And so, you know, like I think day one, Will was the first one out. You know, he had a pretty good bag, but he still had like 1 2-pounder in his boat that he wanted to get rid of. Well, then he catches like a 4 or 5-pounder, and he's got almost 27. And then De Palma does it with like a 7-pounder, and he has almost 30. And then I got rid of my last 2-pounder, you know, with like another 4-pounder, and had 23.5. And so then for a while, Tim was just fishing it by himself, like the last couple hours of the first day. And then same thing happened on day two, right? Like those guys kind of left. I caught the last part of, you know, a couple big ones when Will Davis was right there and had 34.10. And then I just threw him a couple baits and backed off and was like, have at it, boys.
Wow, that's proper of you, though. For real, that's good. Those are good rules, I guess, to stand by.
Yeah,
if you're on a community home.
Yeah,
no
I mean,
doubt.
if you're in that group, you don't want to get kicked out of that group either. I imagine everybody's probably being real nice. Right?
You don't want to have to call Uncle Denny to be the warden in that situation. You know what I mean?
Send Denny down the rock bank and put some people in their place. But I think it all stemmed from us having. All of us had a terrible practice, and it was kind of like, this is all we have. So if we can all make a top 50 out of this, awesome. And then after day one, when we're first, second, third, and 10th, we all looked at it going, well, pretty good odds we're all going to make the cut. Will and Greg were already inside the cut, and I had to catch like 1 bass. So we're like, okay, we're all probably going to make the cut. Let's just see how well we can manage this and how well we can all do off of it, because this is all we got. And and it, I mean, really, it worked out good for all of us.
Yeah, and especially you.
Yeah,
actually, man,
100%. The I mean, and your win there is a perfect example of this as well, Brandon. So get this, Denny and Bill. In the 10 years we've been doing this show, we've kind of compiled some commonalities of champions, and there seems to be some stages of victory, and I see it in your victories as well, Brandon. And it all goes back to some Rick Clunn stuff too, and even back to Roland Martin stuff, let's say. But the first stage of victory always seems to be creative visualization. You visualize the victory in your head. It might be months before, it might be during the event. It just, there doesn't seem to be a common denominator there, but you do visualize the win. Do you guys find that common?
No.
Yeah.
No, Denny never did. That's the word. Okay. And Brandon, you were going to say what?
I do, but it comes at different times.
Okay.
I would say like this one was probably the least of all of them, just because I didn't know what was going to happen every day. So my saying all week was high hopes, low expectations.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, I've got high hopes that it's going to work out, but I got low expectations because I might not get a bite. I don't know if they're going to reload or what. And that was kind of similar at Lay Lake when I finished second to Will Davis Jr.
Yeah.
And like when I'm in like one spot and I'm just relying on that area or that spot, I feel like I have less control versus if I'm running a pattern or, I'm running different places. I feel like I have more control over what's happening.
Okay. That makes total sense, actually. And Denny, you've never visualized one of your victories ahead of time.
Well, I don't know whether I'd put it that way or not, because every tournament that I went into, I just kind of tried to analyze what the potential ways of winning that event would be. And I didn't get locked into any of them until after practice. And there were times after practice that I'd make a statement to my family that I'm going to win this tournament. And I'll be very surprised if I don't. So I don't know if you had visualizing it or not, but then I'd go ahead and I'd end up winning the tournament.
Yeah, I guess that is. I don't know.
What I want to know, what were the things that led you to believe that? Like after you practiced, what were the feelings or like the things that you saw that gave you that much confidence versus when you didn't?
Basically, you'd be on a pattern that you felt you pretty well had to yourself and that you could expand on it and that you had the right quality of fish. And you have an idea of the fishery, what type of weights it should take. And you add all those factors together and you get that confidence that unless you really screw this up, you are going to win it. And amazingly, there were several times during the career that it worked out. And I don't ever remember where I came in and made a statement like that I didn't win, but I didn't do that very, very often. So a lot of times when I won, I really had no idea I was going to win other than the fact that, I'm going to have a good tournament with what I'm on, but you don't know whether you're going to win or not because you don't know what all the other anglers are doing and what they're on or whether, some of them are on the same type of pattern you are.
It kind of falls in line with the second thing that we've learned here about champions is they have that feeling or that instinct also. And that's kind of what you're talking about there. And I guess, Denny, is that feeling.
I think so, Pat, but I also think a lot of it's self-confidence in what you're doing. You got to truly believe that the pattern you're running is something that you have an opportunity to win with. And early in my career, when I was just trying to get established and get by, so to speak, so that I could continue to do it because I was dirt poor, I had to fish conservative and had to fish a lot of ways that I knew I probably wasn't going to win the tournament, but I had to get out of there with some type of paycheck. But after I got established, that attitude went out the door, and I fished every event to win that event. And if I didn't have something established when the tournament started, I threw everything out the window and went and gambled. And I had some horrible finishes because of that attitude, but it also enabled me to win a lot of tournaments. And winning, whether you like it or not, is how you really get name recognition and get established. And that's where the majority of the money's at. And I was in it to make a living for my family. So that game plan, I wished I could have started with. But unfortunately, the sport doesn't allow that to happen. You got to kind of work your way up the ladder to where you have the freedom to do that.
Yeah. I mean, and nice moves. Well played, Denny.
I feel like you just talked about my whole career.
Isn't it something, Bill?
You know, and what is oddly similar is that it seems like you two are most dangerous when your biggest life's problems are, do I throw the black jig or the black and blue jig?
Yeah. Throw a little brown amber in there.
You know, what I mean? A little odd similarity there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Denny makes it sound so easy. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna throw my jig around and I'm gonna win. You know.
Well, I remember when you won Pickwick, Denny called you, say, "Hey, catch one on that jig for me, would you, Bill?"
Yeah, exactly. And then he said, "Catch me a 7-pounder," so I catch him an 8. But
might as well.
You know, I've always been the guy that's been void of that big bite. You know, I mean, I could 12-pound you to death, but
that Ohio River bringing.
That's exactly what it is. That's probably why Denny told me years ago I better start throwing bigger baits. You know, I mean, I guess like, you know, to sit there and listen to Denny is amazing. Just to hear that, because like for me, like my best practices are typically my worst tournaments, and my worst practices are my best tournaments. You know, and you know, Denny sits there and with the confidence of like, I'm going to win. And for me, it just like unfolds as the tournament goes on, and you start clicking and you start seeing things and you start getting little pieces of the puzzle that tell you you're doing the right thing. And yeah, it's pretty cool just to sit here and listen to the legend talk about the process, you know what I mean? Because that's like, for a bass fisherman, at least for me, to hear that and just be able to understand what he's talking about and apply that on the water. I mean, for the people that are listening that heard Denny talk about that, that's like, you can't even put a price on the information you just got.
And what's so cool, Bill? I mean, you kind of said it, but it parallels your career as well. Like
it does. It's kind of scary, actually.
It's awesome. It's very awesome, is what it is. Now, Denny's taught us so much. I mean, you guys remember Schooled by Denny Brauer, of course, every week. I mean, Denny was thumbing us down every week. You're not doing it right, son.
You're not rigged up.
You're not doing it right, son. Yeah. So couple of the things I learned from Uncle Denny, and I know that you boys learned it too. First, most important thing ever, hook sets are free. I mean, they're free as can be. Everything else in bass fishing is so expensive, but that damn hook set's free, Denny. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's scary the number of people you see getting tentative on whether they're getting a bite or not. And a great way to find out is pull the trigger. So.
And once I started getting jigs for free too, I was even less scared of setting the hook. You know what I mean?
It's scarier when you're deep in a laydown and you're not sure. You're going to smash it into a limb.
Another thing that Denny taught us all was bass fishing is just putting a puzzle together. It's all it is, kids. It's just a big puzzle. Wild.
It's true.
Isn't that crazy? It really is, Brandon.
I mean, one big mathematical equation.
It's silly.
Real quick, Bill, you mentioned that, you know, you feel like that trajectory might be coming with more wins, but when you mentioned about throwing bigger baits, did you go from like a 1/4 ounce jig to a 3/8 ounce jig, or what?
He got wild.
Like, elaborate on what, you know, what's
I mean, I went from like your little tightrope jigs that you got. No, I mean, I went from like 1/4 and 5/16 ounce jigs and, you know, little compact spinner baits and little square bills and stuff like that, just to, you know, 1/2s and 3/8, 5/8, full size jigs, big full size, big willow leaf spinner baits and Colorado blades, and
like Denny taught us,
just bigger stuff. Now, but with that being said, like my consistency's been in the toilet, like for sure. And so now I got to figure out that balance of getting a check and potentially having an opportunity to win. So it's like being a mad scientist, I guess, you know.
I noticed. I mean, I noticed this. I've watched a lot of tournaments you fished, and I noticed the tournament you just won. You had the big speed craw on the back of that thing, and I was like, "Is he gonna go down to
Proper
the regular size one?"
baits. We got
last
it
day?
all coming up.
Yeah,
Proper baits, jigs, crankbaits. We got it all
Oh
coming
yeah,
up.
yeah. We're gonna cover that.
We got
right.
it all coming up.
All right,
I'm still learning from Denny right now.
Yeah.
And I want to see if Brandon learned this from Denny. So Denny, you would always yell and you did yell at him. I mean, you were nice about it, Denny, on school with Denny, but you did scold them. And you would always come down on the people about boat control. I mean, if they had horrible boat control, they were up on the lay down, they were on a shell bar, boat positioning and boat control. And look at Brandon Palaniuk's win just now on Okeechobee. Look at Bill Lowen's win on the St. Johns River. Positioning and boat control were everything. And same with Brandon was on a spot, but we know that the angle of the dangle was everything.
He was jockeying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Denny, that's one of the things you taught us, man. If you're not positioning that fancy bass boat right, you might as well just sit on the bank.
Yeah, it makes a world of difference without a doubt, especially fishing shallow. But now when you got a Minn Kota that you could put on spot lock, it certainly makes a lot of spot fishing a lot easier without a doubt. Going back to what Bill was alluding to, I think one thing that we take for granted is scheduling. You know, we beat ourselves up when we have a bad year or a bad season. Well, sometimes things just don't align right, or it could be your favorite lake that you hit it at a time of the year where what's happening is not your strength, so to speak. So then you have another year where you might like to fish dirty water. You get a lot of rain everywhere you go, and it just plays into your hands. So some of that plays a factor when you see anglers get on a roll, and other times when they have a bad season, so to speak.
Yeah. And I guess plays to strengths. I don't know. Possibly.
Yeah. I think that's true. I feel like when I've gotten on a roll, a lot of times it's been with like 2 or 3 baits. And it just seems like everywhere you go, you just pull those 2 or 3 baits out of the rod locker and you're able to make it work. I got people walking up to I'm parking in a Love's truck stop right now. I got people walking up to my truck.
We could put him on the air
if
you want.
On.
Yeah, let's put him on the air.
Hey man, you want to be on Stray Cast?
Hey, come on, put him live on the air. Hey, how you doing, bud?
What's going on?
Hey, you're live on the air.
Alabama.
Hey, what's going on, Alabama? Turn it up, just like Skinner.
Where you headed to?
I'm headed to Texas.
Okay, congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, my truck's freaking out on me.
No, you're good. I saw your boat and your trucks in here. I was like, there's no way that's him.
Yep, sitting here doing an interview with these boys.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do it while I was driving.
If you go on the Facebook feed, bud, from Alabama, you can win a prize.
I got you on my headphones, so I can't hear you.
Oh, so tell him he can like and share the Facebook feed, and he can win a prize from all 3 of you guys. And there's like 6 prizes. Straight Cast 6-pack tonight. Selfie on the air.
Hey, good meeting you.
Hey,
That's
they said if you watch the Facebook feed and you share it, you can win prizes.
Okay.
Yeah, 6-pack prizes. Brandon's giving away all kinds
good
of stuff.
meeting you. See ya. You're welcome.
That was awesome, Brandon. Look at you. How cool is that? Oh, are you in the truck stop shower now?
No, they're just all weird on me.
But hey, he went in the Love's shower. Your shower is ready, Mr. Palaniuk.
Shower number 3.
Step into shower number 3. I don't know what happened, though. What is that?
Yeah, we got some fuzz coming from you now. All of a sudden, when you slammed the door, I don't know what happened.
Something to do with my headphones.
No, that's getting
He's
worse.
definitely in the shower.
Yeah, he's in the. It's Brandon Palaniuk.
Truck shower.
He's using Dr. Squat on a rope. There it is. Right. Still hear it. Huh. Is the water? Are you fishing a mountain stream or a lake down in Tennessee?
Call back?
I don't know. I just talk. Hey, anyway, There
There
it
it
is.
is.
Now it's stopped.
Let's go.
Okay, you fixed it, Brandon. Whatever.
But now you got to turn the volume down
on your
we got an
hyperbola.
echo. All right, it's good. We're good.
Okay, so let's get into talking a little bit about proper bass and baits that these guys have seemed to make a living on and seem to be reoccurring throughout these victories. So, I mean, first off, Bill Lowen winning on the jig, Brandon on the crankbait, Christy winning NPFL on the spinner bug. Like Brandon said, no coincidence that these gentlemen are winning some tournaments.
Meat and potatoes, baits.
Meat and potato stuff. Well put. So what I want to ask you three gentlemen is about some of these. We got some proper bass and baits written down here. And I think without further ado, the first bait we need to talk about, Mr. Brauer and Mr. Lowen, is that good old jig and pig. You know what I mean? You can flip it, you can drag it, you can swim it. Brandon, when you were doing those Sunday afternoon MLFs, like it was when it was the Sunday derbies, remember?
The cups.
The cups. All Brandon had was a white swim jig, white swim jig, white swim jig, white swim jig. The most versatile lure ever in bass fishing, isn't it, boys?
It's tough to beat.
Bill Lowen.
My dream one day is to win a tournament just flipping like a 3/8 or a ½ ounce
like
black jig with a piece of pork on the back, flipping flooded bushes with just like little pine needle trash mats around it.
Oh,
that's like heaven to me, winning a derby doing that.
You punch, you just throw.
I have that dream all the time.
It's a reoccurring dream. But I mean, amazing. And then here comes Bill Lowen on the St. John's River victory. And yeah, most people flipping that Stanko. You know what I mean? Here comes Bill with the jig, swimming it and flipping it. Lowen style, Denny Brauer style. I mean, come on, Bill. I like that audible. I mean, would you just start pitching it around in practice? And
well, yeah, I mean, it's no secret. I got a swim jig tied on 365 days out of the year. Doesn't matter where we go in the country. And that's the beauty of the swim jig and the flipping jig. It gets a lot of bites, but it gets better than average size bites. It gets you quality bites. The beauty of the swim jig is it's so subtle and so finessey that I think it gets bites when a lot of baits won't. And then obviously the jig just kind of speaks for itself. But for me, it's just that the ability to, one, get a lot of bites and get that better than average quality bite.
And Denny, for years, now that I look back at old footage, and I mean, from watching when I was a kid, nobody was talking about swimming a jig, but yet you were doing it all the time. I mean, how many times would you pitch to something and then swim it back a little and then they'd smash it on the way back, Denny? But you weren't talking about it like, oh, I'm swimming a jig. It was just kind of something you were doing. Does that make any sense?
Well, you were trying to do what you needed to do to catch the fish. And there would be times where on especially sunny days, some of them fish would come up and suspend in the top of bushes. And you could swim that jig through that bush and get them to react. You could pitch it in there or flip it in there, and they just let it go right to the bottom and would not react. They wanted the bait brought by them horizontally rather than vertically. So some of it was just figuring out how the fish were positioned and what technique you had to use when. But some of those techniques you really were able to kind of keep to yourself because you didn't have all the camera crews and all the social media and all of that exposing everything you did. So some of it was a little more subtle, and you could kind of try to milk it for 2 or 3 years before the next guy started to pick up.
Like the white jig. Now, Denny sometimes flips a white jig, right, Bill? You heard that one before, right? But
I don't know what you're talking about.
White jig and a white trailer. Andrew Ellenberger don't know nothing about that either.
Steve Kennedy's never done it.
Steve Kennedy don't do that stuff either. But Brandon Palaniuk never did it with a swim jig. But Denny was doing that stuff, flipping it and swimming it. But everybody's like, yeah, Denny's just flipping a white jig. No, Denny was swimming that deal through the trees. That, like he just said, maybe sometimes that horizontal presentation is what it took. Denny wasn't just saying it, though. You weren't talking about it, Denny. That's sneaky. That's sneaky of you.
I was trying to make a living.
I understand.
But, and you know, it's so funny that we're talking about that, because at the St. John's, even though I was flipping, you know, that 3/8 ounce jig, I would pitch that jig to the, you know, the deeper undercut kind of banks that were in there. And a lot of the bites I would get were when that jig was falling. But I never had a bite on that flipping jig on the bottom, fishing it on the bottom. So what I would do is I would pitch it in there, let it fall all the way to the bottom. If one didn't get it, I would snap it up and get it up high in the water column and start swimming it back, you know, kind of exactly like what Denny's talking about. So even though I was flipping that jig, I was still swimming it. And I've talked about that a little bit since then. But I don't think a lot of people realize that that's actually kind of the way I was catching them on that flipping jig when I'd catch one.
Yeah, it was really cool to watch. And again, the subtleties that were embedded in our head that we better learn to be good fishermen or schooled by Denny Brauer is going to get us. You know what I mean? That's the stuff inadvertently that Denny taught us. Pay attention to details.
Well, I always talk about, you know, everybody's always like, oh, you pros got secret baits and, you know, things that the general public doesn't have. And I always try to make the statement that we're using the same baits in theory that everybody else is using, but we may be fishing them a little different way. So just because Bassmaster magazine tells you that that's the way you got to do it, it's obvious that the bass don't read the same thing we do.
You know what the biggest jig tip that Denny ever taught us here on, or me personally, I'm going to be selfish about this on Straight Cast. And also, Denny, you'll like to hear this, that this is something that Greg Hackney learned from you. And when you are fishing a jig in clear water in cloudy conditions, you can't, that flipping blue, damn good choice. It's not just a dirty watercolor. That's cloudy day, clear water. My bites increased 2 times once you told me that, Denny. I'm not kidding. It really works. Or am I just confident because Denny
straight
told
blue?
me?
Just
He's giving up too many secrets here tonight.
That's why I'm retired.
See, this is the kind of stuff that Denny would do to me in the parking lot at the tournaments, and I'd leave like with a headache, you know? Heck, I remember the one time I walk out to his boat, and he's got his jig laying on the side of the boat, and he's got a Sharpie in his hand, right? And he's coloring the eyes on his jig black, right? His jig had, I think his pro model jig had some silver eyes on it. Yeah. And he's painting them black with a Sharpie. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I don't want my jig to see where it's going. And I said, well, why do we even have eyes on it? He's like, that's to catch the fishermen. And I was like, okay. So my jigs don't have any eyes on them.
That's outstanding. You know, Brandon, do that to all your mega bass swim baits now.
Yeah. I don't want them to see where they're going. I don't want them to know they're about to get eaten.
Something
bass are attracted to the blind crawfish.
Yeah, they sure are. Hey, you know, something that a lot of people may not realize about you, Denny Brauer, is you know, you obviously love to throw a jig. But you're a hell of a crankbait fisherman too, Denny. I mean, you ain't afraid to wind a plug, and you've won quite a bit of money winding a plug as well. Spinner bugs, plugs, whatever it takes. And I loved it that Brandon Palaniuk just won Okeechobee on a plug. I think that's phenomenal. Amazing. Winding his heart out there, Denny. Winding away. Pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And obviously, there's a lot of different lures that'll catch big fish. And big fish win tournaments. And you just really got to look at those lures as a tool. And we all got confidence in certain tools, and you're going to fish them a little bit better than you would something else. You put a spinning rod in my hand, I lose a lot of confidence in a hurry. But there's times you have to do stuff like that in order to catch fish. But there were some lures like a spinnerbait, a crankbait, and a jig that during my career always played a part. And some of it's marketing. You get kind of pigeonholed by the media, so to speak, as this guy's a jig fisherman. But if you go through the statistics of the different tournaments I won and the baits I won them on, it would probably shock some people.
Yeah, exactly. That's what, just like Aaron Martin's. Everybody thinks, oh, Aaron just drop shot guy, but look at the stats. I mean,
power fishing,
same kind of deal. And I like how Brandon, just as Bill Lowen, you stated earlier, you learned from Denny, upsize for the victory. Upsize for the victory. And Brandon, you were throwing the mags. You were throwing mag crankbaits on mag rebounds and catching magnum bass. In fact, Brandon has done something I don't think many people in the whole Bass Galaxy have done. He's caught 2 9-pound plus fish on a crankbait and himself in the same day. That's quite an accomplishment.
Both in the mouth.
Yeah,
too.
all three of them in the mouth.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, it takes a lot of 15 years of skill to be able to pull something like that off.
That could have been really bad.
It really could have, Bill.
I didn't know how bad it was at first. Like, I knew something happened to my lip and I could feel it bleeding. And then I didn't know how bad it was stuck in my cheek. I just knew that it was there. And luckily it wasn't past the barb. Because that could have been...
that fish didn't shake. If that fish had shook his head, you'd have had a bass in your face.
You look a lot tougher. You look a lot tougher now, though, Brandon. That happened.
Yeah, I'll take a few battle scars for $100,000.
Yeah, why not?
Sure.
Why not?
Hey, so Denny, I want to go back to the jig for a second before we move to the crankbait sneak here. But Denny, I need you to tell the Bass Galaxy, but don't tell Bill and Brandon. They'll cover their ears. Give us a give us a tip about fishing a jig, a sneak about fishing a jig that you've never told anybody before. Never told anybody before. Last time you told me about the blue deal. This time I want to learn something new about the jig.
Well, you blabbered the blue deal all over the world right now.
Yeah, I'm a talk show host.
I know absolutely nothing. I've spilled the beans about everything.
He's looking out for his
to that.
Okay.
And he's back.
There he is. The Intimidator's back. Like, come on, you got to give us some kind of. So, do you still like as basic as trimming skirts? Do you throw your Strike King jigs right out of the package, Danny?
No, definitely not. I'll take it out of the package, and I'm fishing the same lures like Bill alluded to that everybody can buy over the counter. If you're sponsored by a company, I feel you're indebted to use their product or help them make better product where you will be comfortable using it. And I've had the opportunity, obviously, to design jigs for Strike King for a lot of years. But when I take them out of the package, they're still not ready to fish. I'm going to trim the weed guard exactly how I want it. I'm going to trim the skirt. I'm going to align every strand of the skirt exactly how I want it. The lighter, if it's a two-tone skirt, the lighter color is going to be on the belly because everything that swims in the water, including a crawfish, its belly is going to be lighter than the rest of it. So it's going to look more natural that way. I'm going to check the hook. I'm going to make sure there's no paint in the line tie. I'm going to go through a bunch of things before that jig ever goes in my tackle box so that when I'm on the water, it's totally ready to fish.
Nice. What is the way you trim a weed guard? I mean, I don't know if you happen to have a jig there or not, but can you describe it? How Denny Brauer's method for trimming a weed guard these days?
Yeah, I've got a few of them in my pocket. Hang on.
He's always got wait. He just pays for stuff. He goes to Walmart and pays with jigs.
No,
I'd accept it.
But what do you do to the weed guard?
About 1/8 of an inch above the hook, I just cut it parallel. In other words, it comes up square, and I'm going to cut it like, so to speak, where we at here, like right there.
Ah, okay. I got it right above the hook.
Yeah, but don't cut it too short. If you do, you're not going to put it in places where you need to put it. And that's part of the beauty of the jig. And that's part of the reason it's such a good big bass bait. You can put it in their house where they actually live, because a lot of times they won't come out of that house to get it. And then with the jig, you can go in there and, if they got something falling down on their head all of a sudden, they got two choices: eat it or get out of the road. And a 5-pound bass doesn't like to be told to move. So.
You trim your weed guard too, Billy?
So my jig's made from Lure Parts Online, and basically from learning from the master, the legend, the intimidator, whatever we want to call him tonight,
Gordon.
I kind of incorporated all of that into my jig. So when the customer gets that jig, he doesn't have to do anything to it. He could trim on the weed guard if he wants, but literally you can take it right out of the pack, put the skirt on it, and go fishing.
Okay.
I want things to be as simple as possible. And when you have been fortunate like myself to learn from the master, to learn from Denny, and like, I'm a sponge. Like, if somebody tells me something, I'm going to absorb it and I'm going to listen, because they're speaking from experience. And it works. Obviously, so like I said, when I built my jig with Lure Parts, I wanted everything to be pretty much exactly what Denny just talked about. And so really there's nothing you have to do. And I hate to say that, like, cause it's my jig, but like, I don't want to sound like it. Oh, it's the perfect jig. It's the best thing ever. But, what works for me may not work for somebody else, but, I feel like I've taken everything that I know about jig fishing and incorporated it into that jig. So,
and you got a good role model to teach you that. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Heck, I think I even remember one time Brandon fishing by me saying, "This is kind of weird. I'm fishing by Bill Lowen, throwing a Bill Lowen jig."
It's true. I buy plenty of them.
Yeah.
It's it's
full circle.
I don't know. I've just incorporated everything I've learned over the years into it.
I gotta read this viewer comment.
Sure.
David, where'd it go? Oh, Cody Straughter said Denny just has to look at the jig and it starts behaving.
That's true.
Yeah.
It trims itself.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Just pull it out and stare it down. Cut the eyeballs out.
Unreal. Hey, Brandon, you were using some exotic crankbaits. I like to refer to them as exotic plugs.
Yeah.
You have a new partnership with Mega Bass. This your second year?
Third. Going
third
into
year.
Third year. Yep.
Third year with Mega Bass. And just notoriously famous for making quality products. The Mega Bass plugs. And tell us about the ones you chose, if you don't mind.
Yeah, like most people, I was guilty of the same thing, of being very familiar with their crankbait lineups, like a 110,
Sure.
Edo Shiner, but not knowing their crankbait lineups as well. And so when I signed on with them, I started really diving into the entire product lineup and found out very quickly that there were some sneaky baits in there that I could add to my arsenal that a lot of people probably wouldn't have on tour. And then, this was a situation where a couple of those baits, a prototype, and then the Big M 4.0, like, that's one that I've just had in my back pocket the last couple years, waiting for the stars to align to throw that
big plug.
And it, it's a 5-inch, 2-ounce, I guess Magnum square bill. It doesn't have a square bill on it, but I'm throwing it on a 7.6 medium heavy mag rebound from Alpha Angler, and I'm throwing on 15-pound test. Like, there's not a lot of finessing going on with it.
You're gaffing them and winding them in.
Yeah, and it just all lined up. And the crazy thing is that I didn't know that was going to happen. I didn't even have them in my boat on day one. I had them in my boat during practice, but I never got in a situation where I felt like they were going to play. So I was like, oh, I'll just save the room, save the weight. I'll take them out of my boat. And day one of the tournament, it was the only time it happened, but twice they came up schooling looking like killer whales chasing seals.
Oh, gosh.
And they were on this giant bait. And I had nothing in I had my glide baits. That was the only thing. And I weighed 2 the first day on glides, but I wasn't prepared for that. And so night one of the tournament, after we got off the water, I went back to the camper and I did like 3 hours of tackle, completely changing up, how I was going to approach it. And those big M's went in the boat. And that's what I ended up catching one of the 9s on, and another one almost 8 on that second day. And it's just fun. Like I've always loved fishing a crankbait. Doesn't matter what the depth is. I just love that feeling when you're just winding it as fast as you can and then it just stops.
That's my first memory of Brandon Palaniuk is winding the crankbait in the KVD Classic. Remember that? Winding the Bandit.
Yep. Little $1. That was a $1 little $1 bargain bin crankbait that I got on that one.
Smashing them off stumps in the Classic.
Yeah. And this is how I guess oblivious I was to anything really at that point. I bought that crankbait in a bargain bin because the color was called Louisiana shad. And I was going to fish the Classic in Louisiana.
That makes sense. Yes.
I was like, that is marketing 101 to a T. Like, I don't know what an actual Louisiana shad looks like.
Just like that plug. Yeah.
And it says great for bass.
Great for bass.
Yeah.
And most importantly, at that time, it was cheap for Brandon.
Yes,
right. That was good.
It's come a long way. There's no doubt about it, man. No doubt about it. Brandon, you've had a cool career in these 15 years. And I mean, a perfect example. Denny, look at this guy. I mean, coming up, winning just like Brian Kerschel did, straight from the nation and to elite stardom. I mean, pretty cool. Now, Brandon, I know your career has gone pretty good, but if you had a chance to maybe change something or get a do-over somewhere in your career, what change would you make?
I probably would have just told Denny to get lost down in Pine Bluff. No,
you'd add your face will look different.
We don't own the water.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, no, that one went over well. I don't know what I would change, because I feel like a lot of the mistakes I've had, or throwing a fish over on the wrong side of the river, or dumb things like that, I've learned a lot of lessons from those things. Yeah, no regrets.
Regrets. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there's things, obviously, if I wouldn't have done that, I had a really good shot at winning $100,000 there. But I learned a lot of lessons from that are invaluable that I wouldn't have learned any other way. So I don't know that I would have changed it. I'm a pretty big believer that everything happens for a reason. So you gotta have bad to understand what's good. And so I kind of take both of them.
This message is just in from your camera guy, Vandy Hammer, and he says,
"Oh gosh,"
says Bill Lowen should have learned to fish a jig from me and not Denny Brauer from Vandy, because Vandy's the best jig fisherman on the planet, apparently. I like Denny. Denny's sipping out of the tin cup. I like your style, Danny. I like your style, Mr. Brauer. right there. And by the way, I love the new podcast, Brandon, with you and Bandy. It's nice.
Thanks.
It's intellectual Brandon, which first emerged on season 5 of Stray Cast. Yeah, it was intellectual Brandon.
Yeah,
but hey, I mean, amazing victory for the Bass Galaxy, both of you gentlemen, and the thrill of victory certainly carries on with you, Denny Brauer. I mean, you continue to inspire and teach, whether you know it or not, and we thank you for that, Denny. Please always continue to teach us, please.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, but looking at these guys you got on tonight, it tells me the sport's in awful good hands. And if there's anybody out there that really wants a good example of what a true bass fisherman needs to be, they really don't need to look any further than either one of these guys, because, as I said earlier, on the water, off the water, they do things the way they really should be done.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, one thing that I never, I guess I have regrets about, but there was nothing I could do about, but I never got to meet Ray Scott or have a conversation with Ray Scott. Can you tell me a Ray Scott story, Denny? Tell me a personal story about Ray Scott.
Oh, God, I don't know if I know anything earth-shattering. Ray was a good friend. He was a lot of fun to be around. He was a practical joker. You might come up on stage and he'd kind of lean over and whisper in your ear, your zipper's half down. Or naturally you'd want to check, or you got something in your nose, and first thing you do is you check your nose. You know, it just goes on and on with Ray. So he was just a lot of fun to be around, but God, what a huge plus for the sport of bass fishing. That man was a promoter, bar none.
Yeah, he's definitely set the stage for all of us, for a platform for anglers to make a living, as well as talk shows. I mean, let's face it, Ray Scott's done this for all of us. So pretty cool. I just and that's a commonality. Everybody said Ray was a good time.
He was.
Yeah, dang good time. Hey, all right. So you guys, we got to do a couple questions from the audience. Let's do a few from the audience. I got a couple right here. And then, by the way, if you have not liked and shared this Facebook feed, there's 6 prizes tonight. It's silliness. Denny, you're giving away a prize. You didn't know about that. Bill, you're giving away a prize too. And Brandon, you are too. So it could be anything. It could be a tire gauge from your truck, Brandon. Doesn't have to be anything. It could be that. Bill, you could give away that little cap that goes on your trailer tire.
I want to give Brandon's crankbaits away.
Yeah, to you.
You can't buy them anywhere in the country. I know that.
Heck, everybody in the river had one but me.
Yeah, just send them all over, and we'll send them.
Yeah, we'll take care of that.
I promise. I promise. We'll
okay. Oh, I like this question right here. This is from my bud. Actually, this is from Bait Shop Randy. This is the guy that used to run the bait store when I was a little kid. Denny, my parents had dropped me off when I was like 6, getting me out of the house. You know what I mean? They just dropped me off the bait store at the stoop before they were even open. Get me out of there. Rid of this kid.
Go count some minnows.
Yeah, go count some minnows. But hey, so he says, I love tinsel in my swim jigs. Why is tinsel so good, Bill?
It's funny that he asked that or says that, because I have a whole line of Signature Series skirts at Lure Parts online for swim jigs that have tinsel in them. Tinsel to me gives just a little bit of flash. It's not overbearing. It's very subtle, but it's still, I feel like it's something that gets their attention, but not only on my swim jig. One of my favorite flipping jig colors is my black skirt with blue flake, and it's got about 8 or 10 strands of blue tinsel in it. That's my favorite black and blue flipping color, without a doubt. I always try to do something a little different than most guys are doing, and there's a lot of guys that don't use tinsel in their skirts.
That's a good one for flipping too. Yeah, I like it.
Never heard about it with flipping.
This is a good one from our guy Josh Sokol. Josh does the clips for Stray Cast. And he says, What tactics do you use to keep fish from being aware of your boat presence? Interesting. What tactics do you use to keep fish so don't stomp on the deck when you lose one? Don't go like an Ellie, right, Brauer?
You can, but you're not going to catch anything.
I guess you got
any tricks?
Yeah, any tricks? I mean, don't.
Yeah, I think a lot of it when you're fishing shallow is try to fish at a speed that the cover really dictates, and try to fish into the wind if possible. That way you can control your speed, and if you catch a fish, your boat is going to go back away from the cover. Of course, now with the spot lock and that, and the brushless trolling motors like the Ultrex, it's not near the issue it used to be, because you can sneak up on those fish a lot quieter. But man, just be subtle. No different than hunting. You're trying to, be as subtle and sneaky as you possibly can, because them big fish, you can spook them pretty easy. There's times you got to make longer presentations, etc.
Yeah, they're smart. They get smart, that's for sure.
Yeah. I turn my sonar off a lot when I get shallow.
Yeah.
So did Aaron.
360, all that. When I won at Santee, I would get around those mats and I would just put everything in standby to make it as quiet as possible. And I felt like it made a big difference on it was already hard to get bites, and I just felt like the bites I got more of them when I was being more stealthy, being quiet, not running any of the graphs, barely moving the trolling motor when I needed to, because it was just, it was later in the year. It was in the fall. Those fish had been pressured, and it was still, there was dead calm. There was no current. There was no wind. There wasn't anything to break up their surroundings. And then anything that was in the water would essentially echo under those mats, because it didn't have anywhere to go.
Right.
And so I being as quiet as possible in those situations, I felt like made a big difference. And it's the shallower you are, the more important that is, or the shallower the fish are in the water column, even if they're over 100 foot, but they're only 2, 3, 4 foot down, that boat presence is going to be more noticeable than if they're 30 foot down or 35 foot down.
Right. Yeah. And
Brandon, you told everybody that.
He's giving it away. He's just giving it all away tonight on the Thrill of Victory episode.
For that.
Whoops.
But no, Aaron did that too. Aaron Martin's always did that. You know what else he did? Padded his carpet. He would always put padding in that carpet to make things more comfortable for his toesies, but also to make it quieter on deck. I don't know. Then you get guys like John Cox just jumping all around, getting all wild.
They're running into stuff
in aluminum boats, and then just catching 8-pounders.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, congratulations once again, Brandon, on your victory, and Bill Lowen on your victory, and Denny Brauer. Thank you for all of your victories that have inspired these anglers as well as an entire Bass Galaxy. So the Thrill of Victory is strong in all you boys. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Pat.
Yeah,
Thank you, Pat.
Champions. Hey, let's give some stuff away. What do you say we do that? And Andy, if you can text Bill and Brandon and Denny, you guys got to give a prize away. That's and we give you a prize too, though. We got a prize for you guys too. But you got to give something away, and it can be anything. But Denny, you got to give away one of those awesome head mounts that are in there in the cave of death. How many head mounts are there?
I was curious, Danny. You ever do any deer hunting?
Yeah.
Not enough.
We're not talking about
that. Brandon likes the elks. You've killed some elk, haven't you, Denny?
No, those are just big deer.
Oh, this.
He's got one right over his left.
I
shoulder.
see right there.
Yeah, the left shoulder.
Yeah.
Just a big deer.
This is the pet cemetery in here.
Yeah. Brandon is so serious about elk hunting. He even you never see that Star Wars movie like where they crawl inside that they have to slit the animal open to stay warm. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Brandon does that. Yeah. Stays out for days in the
Survival.
winter. Survival of the fittest. Eats ketchup soup. That's
DiCaprio
tough.
did that too.
Yeah, he's tough.
Yeah.
In the Bear movie.
Yeah,
Yep.
the Bear. Yeah.
100%.
On the Revenant.
Yes. All right, let's give some stuff away. Bill Lowen's got some ultimate matching to do tomorrow. Denny, you're probably going to run down the river because that's where the bite is. And then Brandon, what are you doing? Oh, you're getting your camper fixed.
Oh no, the camper is a train wreck.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, they're re-welding the frame because the frame broke. They got to put a new roof on it.
Yikes.
So essentially, yeah, we're living in hotels, which is why I'm sitting in my Tundra right now while my kids are sleeping in a hotel room.
Tiffany was getting wild in the camper, doing neutral drops, off-roading, all kinds of stuff. You know?
I guess. I don't know what happened. I think it was more of a poor COVID build than anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We've seen that.
Yeah.
We've seen
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
We've seen it. All right. Let's give some stuff away. Are we ready? You guys got some texts?
I did. Yeah, I got a text.
You got a text, Bill?
Yeah. Does that
I
mean
did
I'm
not.
announcing? Am I announcing who that is?
Yeah. Do you want a drum roll or do you want like a medieval fanfare? What do you want?
Oh, medieval fanfare sounds.
Okay.
Sounds,
Andy, you got
sounds new.
You got medieval fanfare.
You just hit me with anything. Drum roll.
You got to say hear he. When it is.
Hear ye, hear ye. Our winner tonight is Josh Lewis.
Josh Lewis. Heck yeah, you won the BMP Thrill of Victory prize pack.
Mystery prize pack.
Yes, I like it. All you got to do is all you prize winners direct message JR Rock and Shoal Fantasy Straycast Facebook page. All right, Billy, you got a winner?
I did not get a text.
You still didn't get a text. Okay.
No.
All right, Denny, you got a text?
Yeah, I guess I did. I don't really, Andy.
All right.
John Burgess.
John Burgess, you won the Denny Brauer pack. Heck yeah.
Hey.
Heck yeah. Good job. All right. Now, Bill, Bill, everyone got one but you. I
got it now.
Okay, he's got it now. The Bill Lowen prize pack. Who won, Bill?
Cody Holcomb.
Cody Holcomb. Yes. Winners happen.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Heck yeah. We'll give the rest of them away here as we close the show. But Bill, I want to say again, thank you for coming on the Straycast show. Congratulations to your entire family. I know they were so excited about this second victory. It was beautiful to watch the emotions with your victory. Making the whole family proud, bud. And
well, it takes a team, and I got a really good one, and I'll never be able to thank them for everything they do, to make it all happen. So
Team Scream.
That's right.
And Bill, thank you for the support you have shown us through all 10 years of this show and 4 years on the Bass Buzz Radio before that. Thank you for being such an important part of this, our broadcasting.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity every time I get it. So, like I said, thank you. I appreciate it, and look forward to the next time.
Yeah, and win that ultimate match. Who are you fishing against tomorrow?
I'm drawing a blank. I don't remember.
Brandon,
but we're on Denny's hometown lake, lake of the Ozarks.
You're on the Ozarks
drink though right now. So,
are you FBDing?
There's no boat docks on this lake.
Oh, okay. Brandon Palaniuk, congratulations on yet another victory. You are what bass fishing needs as well. Amazing victory. Congratulations to you and your harem there. just amazing. Thank you for what you do, Brandon. And again, Denny Brauer, thank you. For those let's do an internet toast right now, Mr. Brauer. Ready? You got the tin cup up, Denny? Here it is. Denny Brauer, here's to you. Proper bassing man. Hell yeah.
Fine gentleman.
Fine specimen of proper bassing right there. No doubt about it. Gentlemen, please keep inspiring, and we shall see you all on the road to happy destiny, right? I'll see you at the Bassmaster Classic. You guys get to all hang out together, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
at the class. Make you think a little bit about where you need to be next year, right?
Talk about how bad we beat them this year.
Yeah. Keep it rolling.
See you boys at the Classic. Safe travels.
Thank
Peace,
you,
guys.
Thank you.
That's Denny Brauer, Brandon Palaniuk, and Bill Lowen. Victors. Yes.
Yeah, more prizes.
I do. We got 3 more prizes. We are giving away first off, I got the tin cup one. Okay. Then Andy sent me that.
I got nothing.
You send Andy. Did Andy send you you don't got Mad Science?
No.
Okay.
That was the Mad Scientist one. I'm sorry. I'll send it to him.
Oh, what happened?
That was the Mad Scientist one.
Which one?
The last one, or the one you sent to Pat?
Yep.
I'm so confused.
We just need 3. We need 3 more, right?
Okay. Well, I got tin cup.
Okay.
All right. Didn't this guy just win?
Who?
Bill Davis?
I don't know.
Bill Davis, you won a tin cup whiskey. Box of goodness to your door.
Big winner.
Did he win that?
All right, I got one.
He won again if you won. Send a direct message. JR Rock and Show Fantasy.
Let's do the Mad Science.
Mad Science, stray cast shirt.
Stray cast shirt. Christian Gerstner. Christian, when you direct message the Stray Cast page, give your shirt size, please.
Oh, there you go. And we got the Berkeley Craws. That's the Crud Craw and the Stank Bug.
Yeah, and that winner will want to give their jig size as well.
Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. All right. The Ryan's giving a bonus pack.
No, I'm saying they got to give their jig size for the cross. Stupid joke.
Oh, okay.
Right over your head.
I didn't get it. I thought you were giving away bonus tightrope fishing stuff, Bassmaster.
No. We did that last week.
At the Bassmaster. Do I got this?
I don't have it.
Hold on one second. Okay. The Berkeley Crud Craws, not this another Minnesota boy. Brad Leiferman.
Brad Leiferman.
Wow,
he's a lifer.
Yes. I knew both people there. Yeah. Isn't that something?
Imagine that.
Hey, Berkeley Crud Craws and Stank Bugs. Get them today while you can at Omnia Fishing.
Yeah.
Hey, that wraps up another edition of Stray Casts. Time flies when you're talking bassing, don't it?
Yes, sir.
When you're actually bassing or talking bassing, time just seems to fly.
That was a hell of a crew there.
It wasn't great. I like knowledge just flying everywhere like a BB in a boxcar.
I gotta get home so I can cut out all the eyes off the jigs.
Start making them blind.
I don't want to see where they're going. That's so funny.
It's nuts, man. It was actually sharp, and that's the answer he gave Bill. Silly. Hey, want to remind you, this is the Bass Galaxy's favorite bass fishing podcast, available on every podcast platform in the continental Bass Galaxy. Thank you, Omnia Fishing. Thanks, Sims Fishing. Bob's Jack Plate Impulse Lithium, Power Pole Tin Cup, Berkeley, Abu Garcia, Waterland Sunglasses, and Mad Science Print Lab. Thank you so much for your support of the show. We could not do it without you, and we certainly could not do it without the most important part. There's a 2-part equation. The most important 2-part equation in the Bass Galaxy is, of course, you, Bass Galaxy, and the fish we all love. Hey, this has been an Andrew Ellenberger Ginger Ninja production. I'm Pat Renwick. That's Ryan Popcorn Whitaker, Josh Sokol at home, as well as JR Rock and Shoal Fantasy. And we'll see you from the Bassmaster Classic next week. Peace, Bass Galaxy. I'm out of here. Take them power poles up and be on your way. Sail on. Fort Worth Playhouse. See you last. Peace. Go Bassmaster.